Glory to God the Father and Son Yeshua Mashiach. 1 Kings chapter 20. The first victory over Syria. Now Ben-Hadad the king of Aram rallied his whole army. With him were 32 kings, besides horses and chariots. Then he marched on Shomron and laid siege to it. He sent messengers inside the city to Achav king of Israel, to say to him, "Here is the message from Ben-Hadad. Your silver and gold are mine, also your wives and your best children are mine." The king of Israel answered, "Just as you say, my lord, king, I am yours, along with everything I own." The messengers returned and said, "Here is Ben-Hadad's response. I sent you a message to hand over your silver, gold, wives and children to me. But I am going to send my servants to you tomorrow around this time. They will ransack your house and the houses of your servants, and whatever they see that they like they will seize and remove." Then the king of Israel summoned all the leaders of the land and said, "Please take notice. Do you see how this man is trying to make trouble? First he demanded my wives, children, silver and gold, and I denied him nothing." All the leaders and all the people said to him, "Don't listen, and don't agree." So he said to Ben-Hadad's messengers, "Tell my lord the king, I will do all that you asked of me the first time, but this I cannot do." The messengers left and brought word back to him. Ben-Hadad then sent this message to him, "May the gods do terrible things to me and worse ones as well if there's enough dust in Shomron to give each of my followers a handful." The king of Israel answered, "Tell him, he who is putting on his armor shouldn't boast as if he were taking it off." It happened that Ben-Hadad received this message when he was drinking, he and his kings, in the field barracks. He ordered his servants, "Take up your battle positions." So they got ready to attack the city. At that moment a prophet approached Achav king of Israel and said, "Here is what Adonai says. Have you seen this vast army? I am going to give you victory over them today. Then you will know that I am Adonai." Achav asked, "Who will defeat them?" He answered, "This is what Adonai says, the young men who serve the district governors." He asked, "Who will start the fighting?" And he answered, "You will." He counted the district governors' young men. There were 232. After that, he counted all the people of Israel. There were 7,000. They set out at noon. Ben-Hadad was drinking himself senseless in the field barracks, he and the kings, the 32 kings who were his allies. The district governor's men went out first. Ben-Hadad sent for information, and they reported, "Men have come out from Shomron." He said, "Whether they have come out for peace or for war, take them alive." So the district governor's men left the city, followed by the army. And each one killed his man. Aram fled, and Israel pursued them. Ben-Hadad king of Aram escaped on horseback with some of the cavalry. The king of Israel went out and attacked the horses and chariots, inflicting a massive defeat on Aram. The second victory over Syria. Afterwards, the prophet approached the king of Israel and said to him, "Go, regroup your forces, and think carefully what to do, for next year at this time the king of Aram will renew his attack." Meanwhile, the servants of the king of Aram said to him, "The God is a God of the hills. That's why they were stronger than we were. But if we fight them on level ground, we will certainly be stronger than they are. Also do this: remove all the kings from their commands, and put professional officers in their place." Then recruit an army as big as the army you lost, horse for horse and chariot for chariot. We will attack them on level ground, and we will certainly be stronger than they." He heeded what they said and acted accordingly. At the same time the following year, Ben-Hadad mustered the army of Aram and went up to Aphek to attack Israel. The army of Israel, already mobilized and supplied, went to meet them. But the army of Israel, encamped opposite them, looked like 2 herds of goats, while Aram filled the land. At this point, a man of God approached and said to the king of Israel, "Here is what Adonai says. Because Aram said that Adonai is a God of the hills but not a God of the valleys, I will hand over to you this entire huge army. Then you will know that I am Adonai." They remained in camp opposite each other for 7 days. On the 7th day, the battle began, and the people of Israel killed 100,000 soldiers of Aram in a single day. The rest fled to Aphek, into the city, and the wall fell on 27,000 of the men who were left. Ben-Hadad fled into the city and took refuge in an inside room. His servants said to him, "Hear now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. If it's all right with you, let's put sackcloth around our waists and ropes on our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. Maybe he will spare your life." So they put sackcloth around their waists and ropes on their heads, went to the king of Israel and said, "Your servant Ben-Hadad says, 'Please spare my life.' And he answered, 'He's still alive. He is my brother.'" The men took this as a promising indication and seized on it to say, "Yes, Ben-Hadad is your brother." Then Achav said, "Go, and bring him here." Ben-Hadad went out to him, and Achav had him climb up into his chariot. Ben-Hadad said to him, "I will return the cities my father took from your father. Also you can set up markets for trade in Damasek, as my father did in Shomron. If you put this covenant in writing," said Achav, "I will set you free." So he made a covenant with him and set him free. One of the members of the prophets' guild said to another one, "By the word of Adonai, hit me." But the man refused to hit him. Then he said to him, "Because you didn't listen to the voice of Adonai, the moment you leave me, a lion will kill you." No sooner had he left him than a lion found him and killed him. The prophet went to another man and said, "Hit me." The man struck him a blow and wounded him. The prophet left and waited for the king by the road, disguising himself with a bandage over his eyes. As the king passed by, he called out to the king and said, "Your servant was on his way into the thick of the fighting when someone turned, brought a man to me and said, 'Guard this man. If he is missing, you will pay for his life with yours, or else you will pay 66 pounds of silver.' But while your servant was busy with one thing and another, he disappeared." The king of Israel said to him, "So that is your sentence. You have pronounced it on yourself." Quickly he removed the bandage from his eyes, and the king of Israel recognized him as one of the prophets. Then he said to the king, "Here is what Adonai says. Because you have let escape the man I had given over to be destroyed, you will pay with your life for his life and with your people for his people." The king of Israel returned home to Shomron resentful and depressed.